are you on? Which side are you on? Which side? Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're going to blow your mind with information that you didn't even know you were questioning it. Because that's what we do here. We give you random information and make you think about things. And we're going to have some fun with that. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for joining us in the afternoon hour. Most of you have that after lunch. You need to have that siesta, but instead, no! We're going to yell at you for a little while and wake you up. So join the chat, get involved, click like, put the American flags over there in the chat. Let me know that the Patriots are in the house. Trolls, you will be deleted permanently. No matter how many times you try to create another profile, we just keep hitting delete. You create, we delete. It's all good. Don't worry about the trolls, folks. Ignore them. They have Machiavellian issues. Trust me, they're very narcissistic, and they want that dopamine hit by getting a response from you. So don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Let the Rumble Lords know that you're here by clicking like on the video. And be sure to share and subscribe to my page if you have not done so already. I appreciate everybody's faithfulness. We're going to talk a little bit about JFK and MLK and what that means and why it matters. And we're going to talk about some crazy libs and watch them cry, watch a few meltdowns. And congratulations, right off the top of the show, congratulations to Miss Tulsi Gabbard, or I should say Director Tulsi Gabbard. She is now the Director of National Intelligence. I think we all knew that was going to happen. I didn't have that on my bingo card, 4, 5, 8, 10 years ago. Didn't think Tulsi Gabbard was going to be the person in Trump's administration to be the Director of National Intelligence. But let's see what unfolds. I think we need all the help we can get, and Tulsi has been confirmed today. Another domino to fall. I think we've got a lot more that need to fall. Of course, some updates on what Trump's conversation with Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. Apparently he's had phone calls with both of them today, so we'll get into the conversation on that. So join us in the chat. Before we do, I'm going to remind you guys about Magic Mind. It's the thing that keeps me going. I just did Abby Johnson's podcast just a few minutes ago, and she goes, how do you talk that much in the day? And I said, well, the beauty of it is Magic Mind, because men aren't created to talk as much as do. So I take one of these shots in the morning. I take a shot at night. Both of them formulated differently. Right now, if you use promo code CHAD over there, you can get some money off on a package deal. But go to magicmind.com/Chad. You're like, Chad, what is it? Well, there's no caffeine in this. It's not an energy drink. It's all natural stuff, but it will the nutrients as well as the extracts that are in this are going to give you that calm energy. Nothing in this bottle is bad for you, but you're going to feel like, hey, I like being awake right now. So you got the morning formula. I'm holding the night formula right here. You can get like 15, 30, 60 bottles in a pack. They're convenient. Stick them in the refrigerator, pull them out every day. This one, the purple one here, the nighttime's got the ashwagandha in it. This is what I like to take right before bedtime. Helps me sleep. It takes that energy down to a place where I can have that nice, deep, dreamy sleep and look good doing it, although Magic Mind has nothing to do with that. That's God and my mama. But go over to magicmind.com/Chad and use promo code Chad and check them out. I love these things. This is a daily thing for me. Get the bundle deal. Get the daytime and the nighttime. Get you some Magic Mind. I like it. I take it. That's why I recommend it to you. And I told him, I said, you need to give me a special website so I can tell everybody to have clean energy too. All right, the guy with the dreamy eyes. Let's bring him on here. He's everybody's favorite producer. Royce Chamberlain's in the house.
I do be in the house. DDD MMM.
DDD MMM?
DDD MMM. I could do a rap song with that probably.
Whose side are you on?
DDD MMM.
Side are you on?
You're making it sound like a lullaby. They do it way more upbeat than that.
I can't get it out of my head. They do
it with a little more soul than that, actually.
We hate Elon. They're really coming after Elon Musk, dude. Every now and then, Royce, I'll have the people, like I'll blow up viral or something, and people will hate me and try to cancel me because I made fun of Kamala Harris's accents or something like that. But can you imagine being like in Elon's shoes? and how much hate he's getting on the big level? Would that be a little nerve-wracking?
He's getting a lot of hate, but he is openly on the spectrum. He's got Asperger's, right? All this stuff. So I don't think that this stuff affects him the same way as it would other people. You know?
Yeah.
He's a little odd in himself, and he's got a little odd personality. And so I think that what he's, you could say, experiencing is not the same. I don't think he views it the same.
Doesn't process it the same way?
Probably not. Or he just doesn't care about it, you know?
Yeah, I bring that up. It also helps to be the richest man in the world. I bring that up because I know there's people in the chat who talk about the trolls and all that, and they get on their nerves and it bothers them. And some people are legitimately bothered by the trolling. Me, not so much. I sort of live for it. I like putting people in their place in the name of the Lord.
In the name of the Lord.
Of the Lord. And
Power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, speaking of demons and getting rid of them, let's bring one in. He's not so bad, but he does sometimes need a haircut because he's a long-haired hippie. Everybody's party foul Steve.
I cut a few inches off. It's not that long.
Yeah.
And, everybody that hates Elon Musk is a racist because he's from Africa.
That's true. That's true, actually.
Like,
factual.
That's facts.
He is African.
They're against culturalism. It must be that time in the afternoon when my TVs aren't working anymore. I got to get back off my screensaver here. These smart TVs are so smart. They start have a mind of their own. That voice that I hear in my ear every now and then commenting, even though no one's talking to him, is everybody's favorite redneck. He's in the house too. Hot Seat Todd. There he is.
I'm sure Elon's crying all the way to the bank. And y'all can ignore the trolls all you want. I talk to them live. I think it's fun.
They call you on
They call me.
your show.
And it is glorious.
You like that stuff, don't you?
Dude, I love it. Trent might actually get his own T-shirt pretty soon.
You handled that really well. His first
seriously.
Trent.
I caught the first call in. You handled that way better than anybody I know of that would have.
Dude, you should have seen it last night. Like, I had him stuttering last night. Like, he calls every show. Every show he calls.
Yeah.
Well, he's a fan. That means he's a fan.
Exactly. I think I'm turning him.
Yeah, that's what you have to remember about those people. If they're following you, they're a fan.
Exactly.
That's what they like.
Good content. I mean, I can't really,
You
not
should
answer
cut
the
him
guy.
a check every week.
I know, right?
Don't
He
get
might
carried
get his
away.
own shirt line and just says, "Don't be a Trent," and then
Don't be a Trent.
yeah.
So what was he complaining about last night?
So last night he called and he was like, "So what do you think about?" And this is how I got him. He was like, "So what do you think about Pete Hegseth, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump being womanizers and cheating on their wives and all that stuff?" He's like, "They don't deserve to be in positions of government, positions of leadership, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Well, I don't really judge somebody, by their past. I mean, everybody's got one." And then he quickly shifted gears and went to U.S. aid. He's like, "I just don't understand the whole U.S. aid thing. Why do we have to cancel it just because they did a couple things bad? We're just going to throw the entire baby out with the bathwater?" And I said, "Oh, look, time out.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep U.S. aid, even though they've done a couple dirty things, but you want to wash Trump, Elon, and Pete Hegseth because they did a couple things wrong." I said, "Bro, you can't have one without the other. Like, you pick a side." And that's when he started.
If you listen to him long enough, my rule, the Prather rule for critical thinking, Bongino has a rule, wait 72 hours. There's a Prather rule for critical thinking. Your first question to yourself is, where am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Before I say something, before I started, a debate or whatever, where am I wrong? Because if you can beat your own argument first, then you don't need to be bringing it out into the public forum. So you are handling that well. That's good. I like that line of reasoning. That's solid logic, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's common.
Yeah.
It's really not any skill. It's just common sense, honestly.
Abby Johnson just asked me on her podcast, I don't want to steal the thunder. We got pretty deep into it. She asked me, she said, first question, she said, "What do you think of Elon Musk?" And historically, honestly, I didn't think much of Elon Musk. He has been, in many ways, a troubled soul. He's been through a lot of insecurities. I remember reading a book about Elon Musk years and years ago, talking about how he doesn't want to be alone. He can't be alone. That's why he jumped from woman to woman and baby mama to baby mama. And again, Royce, you talked about him being on a certain spectrum. Did anybody else find it funny if you were watching that subcommittee hearing today on Doge that we have a guy who is one of the head of the oversight of Doge and he's physically blind?
Yes,
Does
I saw
anybody
that.
else
The
find
sunglasses,
irony
Yes,
in having a physically blind man in the oversight of Doge? That's interesting.
I had to do WWRD before I had something posted up, and I was like, all right, what would Royce do? I don't
Yeah.
need to post this. I might get a strike. I might get a
Thank you.
strike.
Thank you.
might
Thank
get
you.
a
Thank you.
Sometimes life is, pretty in some observational humor. I can see Madam Eyelash's Jasmine Crockett bobbing her head over there right now with what she's got to say. Then there's Robert Garcia. I mean, these people are unhinged. So I go back to Elon Musk. What do I think of Elon Musk? I hope Elon Musk has come around in a big way. There's a lot of things, this transhumanism, different positions that he's held, that I was like, this guy scares me a little bit. But I like what he's doing. Sometimes it takes some interesting characters to uncover some things, and that's where we're at. I hope that time will tell. I hope that we can look back on these days and say that these people were all a good thing for America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that blind man in the oversight committee the same guy who was checking receipts at the Treasury? Because
Royce, you're gonna let me off the leash. You can get me in trouble.
what I didn't see, but that was okay. You would take that to a whole nother level.
Well, I want to pull this clip up here, and I want to show you, because the Trents of the world, they will argue about the past of Donald Trump or the past of Elon Musk. And again, you can take all those things into account. If you're going to be on the public platform, that becomes fair game to a degree. But let's talk about people who are currently crazy, like the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, or what Robert Garcia pulled out today. And we may, no pun intended, talk about that. But they'll justify these people right here. And we won't play this because this is 5 minutes long. But this man, lady, man, thingy thing, purple hair, nose ring, got the gloves, got the whatever going on here, wants you to believe that this is Worcester, Massachusetts. This is Worcester, Massachusetts, that voted to be a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse people. Now, this person basically is going to go on to say, I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry. Am I taking too long? Pleading for my life. Play just a little piece of this blessing.
Play a minute. Let's just play a minute or so.
Yeah, I swear to God, I thought that
I
was a
need the
mime.
city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
We could.
Yes, I can.
I thought
You
they already
say
had a
that you're
trans
afraid
city.
of Trump, and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people. You better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be
Wrap up,
here.
please.
Well, then why are you there?
I'm sorry. Am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remember how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs.
Is that Royce?
I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do
Chad.
not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember that the Nazis burned the books that the
This
Nazis
guy
burned
didn't do a good job.
books on gender sciences first. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT
LGBT people and even special needs.
Maybe we do need to watch more of this. This
Can
is
you look at me
entertaining.
and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap
Look
up.
at me.
All right, stop.
Okay, we're
Did
all
they
done
shut all the
here.
coffee shops off?
Bro.
Hang on. You got it. What did you say, Steve? What did you
Did they
say?
shut down all the coffee shops that day because nobody was at work?
Wow.
You know, you listen, CWD, chicks with, you can put CWD in the chat. You don't have to say it out loud. CWD in the chat. I know you want to put the CLC. You can do the
Just say ding
CWD.
dong.
But my thing is, who is killing trans people? Nobody.
That was my
Nobody.
themselves. They're killing themselves because that's what happens when they don't go get the help that they need, the mental help. The suicide rate in that community is skyrocketed.
Yeah. Well, it's 42% of those who suffer from this gender dysphoria at least attempt suicide. That's why Johns Hopkins University and Johns Hopkins Medical School did classify gender dysphoria as a mental illness. Now, they've since changed that because of all the outcry. Now, I don't understand who this particular volcanic eruption of hormones is so mad at.
Look at me.
You're in the city council meeting of Worcester, Mass., which is where they voted for you to have a sanctuary city for gender diverse people.
Now, can you sanctuary city? When they say that, that's not like there's a designated building to help them. That just means this city welcomes you to come and do whatever you want here, right?
Yeah.
That's what that means.
It's not like you're running from the law in the Middle Ages and you run into a church and scream, sanctuary. It's like, and then suddenly all of you can still go in there and cut your wiener off. Again, we're going to look back at this moment of history. History will look back and say, okay, these people had some identity issues, but this is a far deeper thing because people are so uncomfortable in their own skin. They have so many identity issues that it has driven them to a place of mental illness. And the way that expresses itself is in frustration and anger. These people are unhinged. That's why they're like this. That's why this is far beyond being punk or goth or emo or furry or whatever you want to, going to Comic-Con every year and like to dress up in costumes. Like this right here, this is Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of stuff. That this person looked in the mirror and thought, this is how I identify. This is how I see myself. And so here's the thing. If you're over 18 years old and you want to cut your genitals off, if you want to cut your wrists, cut your hands off and cut your head off, knock yourself out. Like, you are free. I do truly believe that. But this right here, I thoroughly believe these people are funded. I believe that this is an agenda. We're guilty of giving the grease to the squeaky wheel here. Because for me, there's a level of, let's just be honest, there's a level of curiosity and novelty and even some entertainment to watching this, as sad as that may be. Because I am empathetic to a person with identity issues, but when you start making that my fault, I lose all sympathy.
Yeah.
I lose all sympathy.
I mean, if you want attention, just dress up like a pirate. Everybody loves pirates.
Everybody loves a pirate and chop off a leg. Like, if you really need, like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Like, we need Daniel
This
Penny
guy
to
looks like
choke this
he's
guy in
chopped
the
off
subway.
other people's legs.
Yeah.
And that was my point. Like, can I just play devil's advocate here and say maybe having a couple cities to house all of them is a good idea. At least they won't shoot up our kids' Christian schools now. They'll all be in one central location.
Like
that dude right
City
there,
or Transverse City, or
that dude has tried liver with fava beans. I can
We
just
can
tell you.
call it Canada. No, for real though. I mean, there's delusion and confusion, and there is a level to this that is like, it's demonic, man. This is like gender confusion. It's in the Bible. It's demonic. Yeah. And I don't want to see any sanctuary place in our country for things that are potentially demonic.
Yeah. Well, Abby asked me a question a little while ago, and it's kind of still on my heart because I kind of preached for a little while on this thing. And she said, she gets asked when she goes to campuses and she's talking about pro-life issues. Inevitably, there'll be a young guy there who'll say, what right do, the women always say men don't have a right to speak about, abortion issues or whatever because they're not women. What would you say to that? And I said, let me just tell you, there's a lot of little logical arguments that we can use that get people trapped in their own ideas. But let me just tell you, I know I'm created in the image of God. I know I'm created with honor and dignity and set apart. The fact that I know that, apparently, I must be in the minority or something because there's so many people out there who simply don't understand that they got dignity from on high. And I feel sad for these people that they are wrestling so hard with who they were created to be. And you're right, Royce. It's a spiritual warfare. If Satan himself can trick you into believing that, has God really said? That's what he said to Eve in the Garden of Eden. Has God really said that you shall not, touch this tree? And that wasn't what God said. God said you shall not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So he even took the words of God and twisted them. And ultimately, it became an identity issue. And even Adam, after he ate the fruit in the Garden of Eden, when God said, hey, why are you hiding? Adam said, this woman that you gave me. So he started playing the blame game because Adam had suddenly lost his identity as a man with dominion, a man with authority. So I feel sorry for people who don't have that sense of identity. And that's why I walk around pretty confident. And a lot of people, it could be mistaken for arrogance or bravado, but no, I'm pretty confident in who I am. I know my faults. I know my flaws. I know my mistakes, but I will be dadgum if I'm going to stand in front of a city council and bark and preach and read a prepared statement about how marginalized and victimized and oppressed I am when you live in the greatest country in the history of the world.
Unless you're Alex Stein, then you do it for trolling, and it's pretty funny.
I told Alex yesterday, I said, dude, if you're going to keep going to these protests and calling them big booty Latinas in front of a bunch of Mexican men. I just watched that
video.
I said, brother, you might want to do some cardio.
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna end up stabbing you, bro.
Because
real.
Listen how out of breath Alex is whenever he's arguing with those people and they're pushing him around. He's got the adrenaline pumping. I said, brother, you might need to do some cardio if you're going to keep going out there.
We should get Alex on the show and talk to him about that. We should see what he...
Here's the deal with Alex. And Alex ain't everybody's cup of tea, and I appreciate that, but he's my friend for a long time, and I love Alex. Let me just tell you, if we get Alex on the show, you're not going to get a word in edgewise. It's going to be Alex. You got to. It goes. Just don't even plan. Alex going.
That's a lot for Chad to say.
But
wow.
Yeah, and I promise you, I'll overtalk everybody. But here's the reason. Here's what empowers that. I want you to go over to the Ariana Presley clip. I want you to go over to that clip. See, it's people like this woman right here, or the Jasmine Crockett's, or the Garcias, or the AOCs, or the pull that clip up. These are the people that have to be held responsible because they empower that kind of crap. So click like on the show, get in the chat, tell me what you think about Uncle Fester here. This is Ayanna Presley.
That's Michonne from Walking Dead right there.
Once again, she openly admits she's willing to work with anyone who does this. Play the clip.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious.
What? Serious about censoring?
Censoring people and stopping American progress.
Can I just say, what in the world? How would the news be reported? Because nobody's talking about this. Nobody is talking about this.
That's First Amendment rights, right there.
If that was Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, anybody, this would be front page. They'd talk about this for a month.
Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? I mean, if you listen long enough, they'll say the quiet parts out loud.
Oh yeah.
And so here she is on C-SPAN because nobody else wants to hear what Ayanna Pressley has to say.
Yeah, I didn't even know she existed.
So, here she is in Massachusetts, which the Worcester Mass thing, when they see those people, like we played the clip yesterday of the Queer Eye people on The View, and silky hair, Mr. Pert was spouting off his stuff about putting the unity back in community. Let me tell you who's not unified as a community. The LGBTQ2A plus whatever.
They would come up with one letter to cover it all if that was the case.
Listen, the L's, they don't like the T's.
That's a fact.
They don't like the T's. The T's don't trust the G's.
And the B's hate the T's.
The B's are just looking for a good time in Cabo.
Yep. Yep.
So they don't like each other. They don't get along with each other. A few years ago in West Hollywood, which is notably one of the biggest pride parades every year, the actual transvestites were disallowed from participating in the parade because the transgenders felt threatened by that because they weren't legitimate. So what's it going to be? Y'all aren't unified. So, but nothing. Ayanna Pressley, talking about American progress, would say that those people there in the Worcester, Mass sanctuary city council thing, she would identify those people or those guys on The View as being the face of American progress. That, to me, that ain't progress. That's going all the way back to the Garden of Eden and the initial deception. Because these people are operating in deception. You start corrupting the image of God in your humanity, in your identity, and that ain't progress.
No.
That's the ultimate regression right there. There's men and there's women. If I stuttered, let me say it again for the Trents of the world. There's men and there's women. Everything else is a mental illness.
Facts.
Mental illness. There might be some person out there who has some kind of deal going on with them, and I'm not talking about some hermaphroditic thing that's going on. Maybe you need to stop pumping crap into your kids' arms. I know I'm gonna trigger everybody with this thing.
Yes, just make him go full screen. Let him go.
I mean, I
like it.
Stop pumping stuff in your kids as soon as they're born, and doing that for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 years of their life, and then wondering why they got a little wiener next to their little clitoris. I'm sorry. It's a fact.
Bro.
It's a fact. I'm talking anatomically, physiologically, biologically. If you got all these kind of things going on in your kid, then you got some issues. Now, I'm not heartless towards that. I understand there are people who are dealing with legitimate medical issues, physiological issues, but that ain't those people. That's not those people. Those people who are standing up there saying that that's progress, or those people standing up there saying, my people are am I interrupting you? I don't want to be here. Am I taking up too much of your time while people are trying to kill people like me? No one's trying to kill you.
No.
We'd like for you to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
You're very safe. I'm gonna stay far away.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't lying, Steve. You are safe from me.
I don't like being around crazy people. I've been on the subway with crazy people. I move, right? I don't like being around drunk people. I don't like people that are imbalanced. I don't know what's about. If I got some guy that comes in my store and he's going, "It's ma'am," I don't want to be around you.
No, dude. Mm-mm.
I don't want to be around you. All right. Back to sensibility. Pete Hegseth made the statement today. Here's a guy who knows who he is, both in his identity and his gender. He arrived at NATO HQ. There have been people who said, well, in secrecy, Pete Hegseth has said that Ukraine can't join NATO. No, he didn't say it in secrecy. He said it at the NATO HQ. Mm-hmm. He said NATO must be stronger, more lethal force, not a diplomatic club. Sounds logical to me, guys. Time for allies to meet the moment. So he said today that he does not see a clear path for Ukraine to join NATO. So it's not going to happen. The level of meltdown of these political heads. Now, they just spent $200 billion. I want you to think about how many Ukrainian lapel flag pins you have seen. Lapel pins with the Ukrainian flag.
Waving in Congress.
On Congress members' lapels. Yeah. And you're right, Todd, waving those things. They had an agenda. And let me just say, Ukraine's one of the most corrupt countries. I've been there numerous times. One of the most corrupt places. My friend Larry Taunton, his daughter is from Ukraine. They adopted her out of an orphanage. Untold horrors what she experienced. We worked with an organization that took care of orphans in Ukraine. I can tell you horror stories of the abuse, the trafficking, the sex stuff. Horror stories. The money laundering, the evil, ridiculous. And our country's propped that up. And now Hegseth comes in and lowers the boom. I'm gonna say this, guys, and I'm gonna say this with all gravitas, okay? We're gonna see some attempts on some lives in this administration.
Yes, you will.
It's gonna happen.
Multiple.
It's gonna happen. They are flipping the tables so fast and so radically. These ideologies, man, are getting, they do not want that bubble to burst.
Nope. And that's the only play they got left, honestly. I mean, that's the only play they got left. Their money's getting dried up. They're getting caught on every corner. They just and Pete carried it to the next level, not just saying that they couldn't join NATO, but he said, and if you're gonna send troops, it's not gonna be NATO sanctioned and the US will not be involved. There will be no boots on the ground, period. Right. At all. Like, I mean, it's only a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. And he went so far. We got to pray for these guys. Put your prayer hands in there. Because we need to be praying for these men and women. Their lives are in danger. I mean, they really are. Put your prayer hands in the chat. He went so far as to say a step further again, Todd, is he said, there's no way that the former boundaries of Ukraine are going to be attained again.
Yeah, right.
Now, you know what all the screaming memes are going to say. They're going to say that this is the Trump administration's capitulation to the whims of Vladimir Putin. No. I mean, Trump just had a chat with Putin. We're going to talk. I don't want to steal the thunder because we'll probably talk about it a lot tomorrow morning on Dear America. But the outcome of that is promising, saying that he and Vladimir Putin have started the talks of ending this Ukraine conflict. I don't know. I mean, I interpret that as good news. How about you guys?
Yeah, I do, especially if you listen, and you got to go back and listen to the interview that Tucker Carlson did with Putin when Putin basically gave Tucker a history lesson. And he was like this, and I'm not pro-Putin in any sense.
No, of course not.
He's an evil man.
Of course.
But he does make sense when he says every city we're fighting in at this point, the outer cities and the outer layers, they're all Russians. Yeah. They all speak Russian. They all conform to our culture. That's all we're doing. And
to be fair, and you know, my good buddy Jack Carr, who wrote all of the James Reese novels, the Terminal List stuff. You know, Jack Carr has been on my show numerous times, and he had a great synopsis of why Putin was doing what he was doing, and it is he's got to refill his army. They have a lack in that regard. That's why they have those tough as nails, brutal recruiting commercials that they run in Russia. And he saw a way of doing that is by taking back what he believes is rightfully his in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin sees himself as fulfilling his divine calling in the same lineage of Catherine the Great or Peter the Great and taking back the old lands of the former Soviet Union. He sees that as a divine right. Is he right? No. He's an evil monster. He was an executioner for the KGB. He's not a good person.
So if we stop him, we're wrong. If we help him, we're wrong.
1,000%. It's a no-win situation.
Then that's when we do need to be, you know what? That's in God's hands.
Yeah.
That's when you back up and say what Trump said a long time ago. He said, wait, they hate each other. They hate each other. They're no friends of ours. They're killing each other. They're doing us a favor. Why are we getting involved?
Yeah, we're paying for it.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I just want my money back.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
When's my residual Ukraine check going to be in the mail? That's what I want to know.
You know what we should do,
left
Todd?
alone, man.
Yeah, I just want to be left alone. You know what we should do, Todd? Let's go party in Kiev. To me, it's Kiev. It ain't Kiev to me.
Kiev.
We should
Every video I've seen, it looks good. I mean, they
Right
look.
till
They
the
got
bombs
nicer
start
clubs. They got nicer clubs than we do.
Yeah,
So,
and
We're building them.
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Todd, I'll say this unashamedly, unapologetically, but with wisdom. With your wife, most likely in the live chat, the last thing you and I will ever do is go to Kiev. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like I'm surprised I haven't got a text message. No.
No, you will not be
No,
clubbing
you will not
in
be
Kiev.
going to Kiev with.
We're going to go to Gaza of America before then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Mara
Yeah.
Gaza.
I've been looking at Airbnbs down on the Gulf of America all afternoon. Trump and Elon Musk. Let's take you back to some more mental illness. Brian Krasenstein, he tweeted this a little while ago. You know what? Before we go to that, Royce, let's do it. Let's take care of some bookkeeping stuff. Let's talk about the wellness company. I'm the world's worst about getting going, and I forget that we got these folks over here. The wellness company. Make sure you get your medical kit, guys. Go to twc.health/Chad. And use promo code Chad over there at the Wellness Company. Check those guys out. I love this kit. It's got the basic prescriptions in it that you might need. The other night, got a little stomach bug. I talked about that on the show the other day. I was able to go in there and pull out a little nausea medicine, took it, boom, knocked it right out. It was cool. Gave me a little relief. But you can get the contagion kit, the radiation kit, the field kit, the kids kit, all this stuff. And then you got tons of add-ons. I am huge on believing you need to be prepared with your first aid stuff, with your medications, having everything on hand that's ready to go. And they'll help you over at the Wellness Company. Good company, good products, worth every penny. They'll give you some free shipping, plus I think like $30 off with promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. Somebody a little while ago in the chat said, I had to Google who Chad Prather was. Well, when it popped up, you got a blessing. Go to twc.health/Chad and use promo code Chad at the Wellness Company. All right. Brian Krasenstein. I love the Krasensteins. I say that with all sarcasm and
All of it. Every bit of it.
So yesterday, they asked Elon Musk if he was willing to correct that statement. We all talked about the $50 million in condoms to Gaza. That was the initial report. None of us truly believed $50 million in condoms went to Gaza. We just knew that the money was going somewhere, like all of this grift, and it was money laundering. And one of the speculations was that it was going to Gaza in the form of condoms. So Krasenstein wants an apology. We can toss a big old up yours in the chat, little
Cry, live, cry.
little CLC, starts with F, ends with U. I don't care, but little CLC. But he wants an apology because he says that the reporter wants to know about the $50 million, but apparently it was Mozambique for HIV prevention.
Yeah, right.
So I want you to listen very closely. If we can turn that volume up, I don't know if we can, Royce. I want you to listen very closely to exactly what the reporter asks Elon with this. Let's give it a shot.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there. Yeah. And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000.
All right.
You said on X.
Here's what she said. that I wanted you to hear. She said, they want an aha gotcha moment so bad. The reporters, including the Krasensteins, and Brian Krasenstein, he can spit in one hand and wish in the other before he gets any kind of apology for me. That dude starts out with falsehoods with every premise he ever posts, okay? So kiss it, Krasenstein. And you know what? You're right about the right level to do it because you're only 4 foot tall. Now, here's the thing about these dudes. So what she asked was, she said, but the fact check is it went to Mozambique and Gaza. Gaza and Mozambique. So it went. So she didn't say they didn't go to Gaza. She said it also went to Mozambique. Now, I don't know if you guys do a lot of Mozambican banking, but like that's not where I send my money for a trustworthy source. But apparently that's what we do in order to stop the spread of HIV prevention. Now, again, critical thinking tells me let's break down the heartstrings they're trying to pull on, because God knows we don't want any little African babies dying of HIV, and we don't. But once again, folks, my $50 million in taxpayer American money, it's not my responsibility to save Mozambican children from HIV.
Wait, there shouldn't be any children if we're sending them condoms.
This is the same.
That's the whole
Should
point.
be a population decrease.
This is why I can't do the White House press thing, because I would look at her and be like, okay, lady, like, knows how to put on a condom.
Yeah. There's a reservoir tip, and then you
like, come on.
This is a corn dog.
Well, to Chad's point, if they didn't disclose that it was for condoms and they said it was for paper straws, for example, I'd still be upset that $50 million was being spent on anything going to Gaza that has nothing to do with us. Condoms just makes it funny. But the truth is, I don't care what it is. Don't spend my money.
I don't want to send cotton swabs. I don't want to send Band-Aids, $50 million in Band-Aids. I don't want to send $50 million in hair weaves. I don't want to send any of that stuff. No. I'm not even a fan of them sending Super Bowl Kansas City Chief champion, world champion T-shirts to Uganda. Whatever. That's on the NFL or whoever their distributor is. But I don't want to pay the postage for it. Not if it's coming out of my taxpayer dollars. Mm-mm. Now, again, I believe as a Christian that the light that shines the farthest away shines the brightest right here at home. But here's the thing, guys, and I want you to listen real closely when I tell you this. You say, but Chad, Jesus told you to. Okay, I want you to hear me when I say, shut up. Jesus did not tell me to go evangelize the world on the taxpayer's dime. Mm-hmm. Now, if he puts it on my heart to go to the ends of the earth, that's on me, and that's on God to provide for me to go do that. But I don't need Party Foul Steve paying my way to go save people in Africa.
Oh, I'm not.
You're not going to. He got the credit card debt. He can't help me get to Mozambique. But my thing is, it's not my responsibility or any American taxpayer to buy bullets for Ukraine, to buy condoms for Mozambique children, or to buy towels for the head of somebody in Gaza. It ain't my responsibility.
No.
That's not Christian.
Nope.
So quit. But see, this is the same type logic. What she just said, what they use is the same type logic, is to say, oh, you're pro-life? Well, what happens when your 12-year-old gets raped by Uncle so-and-so and has to, because Greg Abbott won't allow it? Stop playing on the biggest, longest, tallest extreme that you can find.
It's a percent of the
first one that's
right
the first thing that's going to die is Uncle so-and-so.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if that
we'll
happens
deal
to
with
my
the baby
12-year-old
after
daughter,
that, but Uncle so-and-so's dead.
Yeah, we're going to figure out what's wrong with Uncle so-and-so first, and we're going to feed him into the wood chipper feet first. Now, it ain't my responsibility. It ain't your responsibility. It's not the American responsibility to do that. But listen, here's the deal. Notice the response that's genius from the man with the Asperger's or whatever he's got. Elon says, I'm going to say some things that are wrong, and they need to be corrected. When's the last time you heard that level of transparency?
That's called leadership right there. That is the first line in Party Foul. I know you were a Marine and you understand like leadership training. That is the right there. Admit fault. Hey, I get it. That's it. That's for me. That's the
100%,
true
yeah.
blue of a leader of men right there. Is when you can admit when you're wrong and then say, "Hey, I'll get it right next time." But he does go on to say that I don't want $50 million worth of condoms sent anywhere.
No,
anywhere. Like, because all we just paid for were new balloon animals in Gaza and Africa. That's all we paid
Where
for.
are these used condoms winding up? In our ocean? I mean, that's a lot of damn condoms.
Probably with the plastic straws.
Probably so. That turtle over there.
Some poor sea turtle's got a condom over his head right now and suffocating.
Can we go back to just the image of that Worcester, Mass City Council? Can we go back just to the image of that very first story we covered? And let me tell you
this guy?
Yeah, can I tell you where condoms need to go?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. We need them in America. We need them here. We need them here. Oh boy, this is the kind of stuff. No, Brian Krassenstein, you're not getting a refund. All right. What do you guys think is going to come out of this JFK stuff? Now, me personally, I think we might discover that there's multiple shooters. Does that change your life? We might discover that Martin Luther King Jr. had some sexual trysts. Does that change your opinion? Does that change his contribution to history? What was his contribution to history?
I don't think it changes his contribution to history. I mean, all of us have, things that we, probably in our lives or in our past that maybe it's not the best, but hopefully we, can still do good things.
Now, I want to warn everybody to be careful, and we're going to say all these things allegedly. Be careful what you read online about MLK, the stuff that was released in 1964 by the FBI.
Sorry, was that Elmo that just popped in our
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I'm wearing pants.
Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God, I'm
Speaking
dying.
of avian flu, look at the chicken legs on this kid right there. Oh my gosh.
His legs look shaved, Chad.
No, I'm just old and hairless, man. Look at that.
And the boots. Why you got boots?
No shoes.
Allegedly.
No socks.
Allegedly.
For the record, I'm wearing pants, and I'm in the
I'm
next
also
room.
wearing pants.
Well, I'm not.
Todd, you got pants on?
I ain't standing up.
I have it on good authority that Todd wore pajama pants every day last week for all the shows.
I wear pajama pants every day. Not just last week. I'm wearing pajama pants right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
And Striker Jay, Jay says, Chad, we saw him last night while you were cooking soup. I've literally worn these shorts for the last 2 weeks. It's just
Allegedly.
There's been a lot of documents that were released, like 1964, about all the nasty things that Martin Luther King Jr. apparently did. And people can choose to believe what they want to believe on all that stuff. Me, I'm still a little cautious. Now, I'm not the person that puts MLK up on a pedestal and say he was some kind of perfect man. I don't think he was. I think there's too many things out there, too many rumors that float around. But they put a lot of stuff out there, and you got to remember, it was the FBI literally wrote a suicide note for the man.
Yeah, I'm not trusting the FBI now, much less then. I mean,
No.
how do you trust everything?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and throw my opinion out there because I don't have a lot to say on MLK, but I'll go ahead and throw my opinion out there.
Say
and
like
let you
what?
guys-
Say something.
I'll let you guys go over the conspiracies or whatever. I really don't care what MLK did. If it's disgusting, it's disgusting, and it doesn't align with my views. Whatever. I could give two craps. I don't really care. But when it comes to something like JFK, then I see there's a huge difference. I want to know who assassinated and who was responsible. Was it our own government? Was it somebody else? That, in my opinion, is way more important than did MLK have, I don't want to say anything out loud because it's all pretty bad. But you know what I'm saying? Did he do some of this stuff that he's being alleged of?
Yeah.
Because I don't really for our country in terms
Unless
you know,
he
but it's
touched kids
just
or
something that's
something,
hidden.
then it's,
Well,
you know,
yes,
different.
yes, of course. Which, and I don't think I've seen anything like that.
No,
Just
I
more so that
haven't.
he was kind of a weird guy and he had a bad relationship with his wife and stuff like that.
We can reserve
but-
judgment, I guess.
But I don't know. I just don't see. Sure, whatever. He kept a few secrets, and I'm not, drooling at the mouth trying to figure out what they were. But I want to know who assassinated JFK, who assassinated RFK.
Never found out. You'll never find out. They've
That
already told
Epstein
you.
list. Yeah, that's the thing. We are gonna find out exactly what MLK was into before we find out who was on the Diddy or Epstein list.
They've already told you. And I love Trump, and I love Cash, and I love everybody that's in this cabinet. I love the picks. I love it. But they've already told you without telling you. We're not telling you, because once they said we have all the documents and we're going through them and they'll be released shortly, that's code for, yeah, we're going to tell you what we think you need to know. We're not going to be transparent. I'm sorry, y'all. It's not going to happen. It's not. I hope I'm wrong.
Chad, or I forget who made the point earlier, but the FBI literally sent this guy, MLK, a suicide letter. And so if they're sending him that to fool people into thinking that he killed himself, then why are we believing anything that they put out anyway? So I just think it's all, why are we even looking at it, right? It's there, whatever, MLK, people can like it, but like, what's there to believe? There's nothing to even talk about.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, you murdered somebody 60 years ago. The implications there is, what did our government do? Did MLK screw around, slap women around, get involved in sexual relations? Do I believe that? Me personally, yes, I do. I believe there's plenty of evidence out there for that. I don't believe JFK was a fine, moral, upstanding individual either. Neither do I believe Robert Kennedy was either. I don't think that the Kennedys, any of them, have ever been fine, moral, upstanding individuals, including RFK Jr., who was addicted to heroin for however many years. So I don't think any of that stuff. I think that power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and I think I have no problem believing any of those people were doing any of those things, and that includes, do I think LBJ ultimately was responsible for the death of JFK? Yep, sure do. I believe those things. Allegedly.
Well, to be fair, I don't think anybody is perfect. And this is why Jesus died on the cross. Everybody's going to have their issues. Okay?
Yep.
Everybody's going to make those mistakes.
Yep. Well, but here's the question, Royce. Here's the question. This is what I was getting to. All those people did that stuff, but how much of it was empowered by the government? Like, okay, I know a man's weakness. So look at Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein knows that you like him young, right? So he's going to bring you down there. You're going to drink something that maybe you don't remember everything that happened that night. And you wake up the next day and there's pictures of you and there's video of you doing some things that you would have never done if you were in your right mind. Or maybe you did do them in your right mind. You just didn't know you were being videotaped. So you know a man's weakness, and so now you make that where he almost can't turn it down. It's too tempting in front of him. How much did the government set those men up to do that? I mean, was the CIA supplying Hollywood celebs to come in the tunnels under the White House to have their little evening affairs with JFK? What was going on? I want to know that, because if we have that level of an evil government, and just trust me, we do. It would just be nice.
100%.
It would be nice to have a line of sight to it that we could trust and say, yep, okay. So then we can read between the lines of all the bull crap that's being put out there in the mainstream media every single day. And we'd be just like, no, we don't trust anybody. But that's why people like us exist. What we're trying to do, Royce, and what I'm saying here is we've been labeled the conspiracy theorists for so long. I think every one of us wants some level of justification to say, told you so. Now, like the Krasensteins say, you owe us an apology.
Yeah.
You owe me an apology. So, yeah, I want to get to the bottom of that stuff. Now, the bigger thing with the bigger implications is that Epstein list, because those people still walk among us.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That is way more important.
I don't really care about the JFK and the MLK and the RFK and the Princess Diana and all. I don't really care. I mean,
Nobody
maybe
we
that's
can go
heartless.
after.
I don't care. They're all dead. But those people on Diddy list, the Diddlers list, and the Epstein list, they still walking among us.
Yeah, they're still here. And
monsters.
And you know why the Epstein list is so much more important than the Diddy list is because we already know the type of people on the Diddy list, and we already expect that out of those type of people.
Facts.
We already know that Hollywood and the music industry is evil. We already know about the casting couches. We already know about the grooming. We already know about the pedophilia and the trafficking. I mean, the reason Dan Schneider, who was the head of Nickelodeon, had those little orange feet, we talked about this the other day, as the logo for Nickelodeon, was because he liked to suck on little girls' toes while he was having sex with them. They paraded it right in front of the American public. Let me tell you something. If Alex Jones was going to talk about this, he'd say, let me just talk about they're just sucking on the toes of the little girls.
That's so spot on.
It's disgusting, the evil that lives among us. And so the Diddy list doesn't surprise anybody. The Epstein list, though, that's not just celebrities. That's scientists and doctors.
And
that's
princes.
That's princes. That's Department of Justice. That's judges. That's politicians. That's bureaucrats. We already know the evil. When a dude's getting railed in a Senate hearing room and they're Facebook Live and his booty sex, when they're doing all that stuff, we already know. When Madison Cawthorn, it says that as a Congress member, he can tell you about all the illicit parties that are going on, the sex tirades and all these different things that they're engaged in, and everybody says Madison Cawthorn's crazy. And Cawthorn comes back a few months later after that little video was released and goes, no, I literally told you that was what was going on. I don't know why you're surprised by this. Anyway. So we need to know who's on the Epstein list. And not, again, I want to say again, not the acquaintances, who's on the list.
Yes.
Not who's in his black book. That's like saying I'm guilty of somebody's crime because they're my Facebook friend. That's not the way it is. So come up here, Biscuit. I know you want some love. All right. I've lost my notes here, Royce. Do we want to talk about? There's some nasty stuff out there about MLK, and I have no problem believing it. I have a hard time giving the FBI credit.
Yeah.
Now get Cash in there. Get Cash confirmed because I know Cash. I know I can trust that man.
Yeah.
Like I know him. So I want to know. I'll trust him when he says this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I do know that Glenn Beck, I wish he hadn't have said it the way he said it to Patrick Beck-David the way he did, but I do know he has it on good authority in saying it. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, Chad, me and you were texting before the show, and I was like, oh, do you want to talk about this stuff? Should we make the show about this? And you said, sure, yeah, let's do it. So I started looking up all this MLK stuff, and that's when I started to realize, like, dude, like, what's there to believe? What's there even? Because it's all from the FBI.
Dude,
there is absolutely, and really, I mean, you're right. Yes, it's not worth talking about the information and pointing at MLK, but it's worth being like, is this real? And looking at it from the perspective as like, did the FBI give us this information or not? You know? And that goes for everything. That goes for JFK. Now, I know, Todd, you mentioned like you don't really care because they're all dead. And I agree to an extent. Like, yeah, they're all dead, so it's nothing we can do about it. But I still think it's important to know what really happened to one of our U.S. presidents. Because if it's different than what's in the history books, then that must be corrected.
Yeah, for the sake of your future kids' history class, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with that.
Well, yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I'll agree. But at the same time, it exposes the corruption in our government and the past administrations that had kept this under wraps.
Yeah.
And Trump's administration being the only one to expose it says a lot about how our country's been ran for the past decade.
Yeah. What was it that Tony brought up this morning? Is if you discover that the 9/11 stuff had a government assistance, are you going to think differently about your country? No, I'm going to think exactly what I've already thought about George W. Bush.
Yep.
And his administration and his father, who was the head of the CIA and who had a grudge match going with Saddam Hussein.
And a very good way to get the Patriot Act signed.
And the Patriot Act, so they could look at everybody's business. And now I got to get felt up every time I go through the airport.
Yep.
Every time for Chad. They stop him every single time.
Me too.
So bizarre.
Metal hip never fails.
Well, I like to wear button flies just to guarantee it. All right. Booyah, there's an hour. Okay, guys, thank you for joining us. Click like in the show. Click like if you like Biscuit. Biscuit, you nasty.
Everybody's loving some biscuit in the chat.
Everybody
right
loves
now.
biscuit.
Hey, Chad. Tell us about Birch Gold.
Thank you for that, Royce. I got lost in a deal right here. I really do want you guys to do me a favor. I really need you to do me a favor. Last year, listen, our show went independent, and I left the Blaze, and I am 100% independent. There ain't nobody funding me. I am self-funded. This show is self-funded. Everything that we do is it's on me, baby. So I want to encourage you guys to look at our sponsors. Take a look at our sponsors. It helps me. Ain't nobody getting rich doing this show. I promise you. We got 645 people watching on Rumble right now. There ain't nobody getting rich watching this show. We got more on the other platforms, but let me just tell you, I'm so thankful for guys like Birch Gold and Patriot Mobile and Wellness Company, Magic Mind, all those different ones that are out there who supported me over the years. Text Chad to 989898. They're not going to bug you. They will send you that free information kit to tell you how to diversify your retirement into a secure place that is backed by gold. And they mean it. They really are the best, or I wouldn't recommend them to you. If I don't have a relationship with them, if I'm not using them, if I'm not putting my own life into it, then you know what? I wouldn't recommend it for you. I promise you that. That is my promise to you from now and forever. Text Chad to 989898. You might have that old account sitting there not doing anything. Let it do better for you with Birch Gold. They'll help you do that. They're an industry leader. Text Chad to 989898. And then the other thing I want you to do is I want you to go to where podcasts are offered. I want you to go to Apple Podcasts, and I want you to click like, leave a review, hit a little review thing, and I want you to listen to it. And let me, while we get over to the super chats, Royce, I'm going to go over to podchaser.com, and I want to see where we're sitting in the news commentary.
Also, while we're at it, we don't talk about it enough. We always talk about like and subscribe and share this, but you gotta click the bell icon too. That's really gonna help you. If you like watching the live streams and you want to know when we're live, click the bell icon. Watch, I'll play the graphic. It's in there. You see that right there? The little bell? That's going to let you know every time that Chad posts something, goes live. It's important. We don't talk about it enough, but it's super, super useful for you guys to know, how active Chad is. Maybe you don't want to know that, but, it's there. It's there for you if you do.
Condoms
right,
to Mozambique, baby. And Striker J, make sure you're checking out his Morning Mumbles. Striker J, part of his Wolverine 7276. Oh, and guess what, Todd? Now, if people will go to, I just added it today, redpillchad.com.
Yeah. Is it Red Pill Chad or Red Pill Threads?
No. I went and got
Red Pill Chad. Nice.
And I redirected it over to Red Pill Threads.
Nice.
And so you can check out some of our new designs. We've got more coming. Todd also has, he's got redpillthreads.com/hot seat.
That's right.
So go check his out as well. Got some cool stuff. And, go check it out, redpillchad.com. All right, what do we got in the chat? Preach, Chad, MXWife859. I try. I can't help but I tell myself not to do it, and I end up doing it anyway. I keep on preaching. Caddy Highlander, Chad, you took the words right out of my mouth about we need the condoms. That or their mama should have swallowed. Just saying.
Oh, gosh.
I know the folks over on the His Glory Network love these comments. But I told them, I said, y'all are the ones that wanted the show. We ain't censoring it. Not that much. All right, what's the next one? We got my buddy Anthony Baker. He said, I know it's not very Christian-like, but between all the gay sex, genital mutilation, and abortions, maybe it's best to let these weirdos exterminate their culture over the next 20 years. I used to say that. I used to say between euthanasia and abortion and homosexuality, these people are going to all die out. But apparently the mental illness just keeps on carrying.
according to experts, that 2035 asteroids getting that percentages are going up every day.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have read that,
Bring
but
it.
it's up to like 7% at this point.
Going up.
Somebody better find Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Mamoose, thanks for addressing troll deal. Would like them to release the info on the Epstein Diddy peeps that replace them trafficking, as well as drones and balloons. Now, not saying others aren't important, just prioritize. I could not agree more. And I also think USAID.
$20.
I think USAID is one of the biggest human trafficking scams in the history of our country. All right, Skip 1074 says this last week I've coined a phrase, roll Todd. Chad rants, Todd rolls.
Like it.
My wife's teacher was home last week due to weather and heard about Biscuit. She would ask which chair Biscuit is in. Let me tell you where Biscuit came from for those of you who are new to me. So my good friend Shelley Luther, those of you who remember the salon lady in Dallas during COVID who refused to close down and opened up, and they took her to jail in Texas. She is now my very good friend. Her and her husband, Tim, she's now a state representative here in Texas. Shelley Luther is. A lot of people read that story. She has dachshunds, and Biscuit came for one of her litters. I think they just had another litter of 2, as a matter of fact. Pretty little babies. But yeah, Biscuit's one of my baby. I had a Biscuit. I've started to get a gravy, but I've already got 2 other dogs, and I said I don't need any more. So. Not woke, my man. Chad's homemade soup craving this is today's buddy's response. E. coli cat poisoning from the Wuhan Jade. Let me tell you something. Not woke. I made that soup yesterday, and I was on Facebook Live making the soup, and it took me 40 minutes to make the soup. I ended up having to go to the store for one more ingredient, but when that sucker was done,
You put it on top of your head and your tongue will beat your brains out trying to get to it.
Well, I took it over to CJ's house, and, kids are picky, right? And she had some kids over there, her kids and some other kids. That soup was gone. Gone. Her parents called last night and said, hey, can we come over there and get a bowl of soup? And I was like, you can come scrape out 2 bowls for yourselves. And her mom was going nuts. She's like, oh, my gosh, it's the best soup I've ever had in my life. I don't mess around when it comes to soup.
I need to try the soup now.
I make soup.
Chad, mail me a bowl.
You know what I want to do? And I would love to find somebody that would partner with me and figure this out. You know how my buddy Terrence Williams has got Cousin T's? I want to come up with soup mix.
Get with Terrence.
I didn't want to put cumin in there. I didn't want to put cumin in it. I put the turmeric. People love to correct me. I call it turmeric. I'm from the South. We drop our R's.
Turmeric.
What's it called? How do you say it?
Turmeric.
It's
turmeric or whatever.
I
call it turmeric. I don't care what anybody says. Tomato, turmeric. But I didn't put the cumin in there, but I'm thinking about maybe doing a soup this afternoon. I need to run to the store real quick. I'll post that Lines Fade. I'll put that recipe out there. Skip 1074, and because Rumble limits us to 200 characters, I love all the shows. Chad, see you Friday. You coming? Oregon? I'll be there. Klamath Falls. We'll be there. And I got to fly tomorrow night. Got to fly. I said I was flying through San Francisco yesterday. I'm not. I'm flying through Phoenix. So I was smarter than that. What else we got? If you're in Texas, I would love everybody to come to my show at the High Horse Saloon. That's a new place. That's in Texas City. There's going to be music and comedy. I'm bringing everybody with me, and we're going to film that. One of my old producers is going to bring the crew, and we're going to film that deal. Trenton 78. That's Trenton, not Trent. Why does it seem like everything the left does benefits our enemies more than our country? Good question. Transgenderism alone weakens our society, children, military. P.S. Not all Trents are bad. LOL. I agree.
True statement.
Especially at $5 a pop.
Last one.
True Texan. Poor redneck from Fort Worth here, brother. Man, I love you. I know the type. All right. Todd, where can people find your show, buddy?
That's it, man. I'm going to be right here on my channel. Just go to that search bar at Rumble and search the hot seat. And I will be here back in a couple hours, actually. So 5 Central, 6 Eastern. And it's going to be me and Kendra tonight. So Mama's going to be hanging out. Wifey Wednesday.
Royce, you see how Steve just gets lower and lower in that chair?
He's just progressively just sunk.
So I counted the bricks. I'm not kidding because I heard you say it on. I told you I watch MASH and you at the same time when I'm not. He was at the second brick when the show started. He was at the second brick, and now he's down there to like 4.
I went in there. I've got a room over here that's got a big, wide, easy chair in it with a big ottoman in front of it. I was getting done earlier, and I went in there, and he had laid out. His head was on the arm of that chair, and his legs were draped over the other side of it.
It's huge.
You have taken comfort to a whole new level, bro. I mean,
I wish I could get that comfortable, man. I struggle to get comfortable.
My age. You could go to sleep wherever you're at.
Steve has taken it to a whole new level.
Y'all youngins, y'all.
Dude, I will tell you.
I don't know how to get comfortable, man. I need lessons.
Understand it, man. Look, number one, if you're prior military, you learn to sleep anywhere in any position.
Back of a 5-ton truck.
Yes,
going down a dirt road.
I slept in a wheelbarrow in Korea. Like, no kidding, in a wheelbarrow.
Party foul, I think it's got a heart rate of like 60.
Todd, say that again. Say wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow.
Say it a little slower.
Wheelbarrow.
Bear.
Wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow. Whatever.
He's saying wheelbarrow. Come on, man.
Which side are you on?
Barrel.
Which side are you on?
Wheelbarrow.
All right, guys, go where podcasts are offered and hit play. We were ranked at 90. Normally, we're about 55. So that's on
what?
Y'all. That's on y'all.
At least you're ranked.
That's on the audio.
At least you're ranked.
Yeah, but go over there and check it out. All right, I love you guys. Go follow Royce on X at Royce Chamberlain, and we will be back around here tomorrow morning for Dear America.
That's right.
Might get Graham on it. Tomorrow is the 800th episode of Graham's show.
So cool.
Tomorrow is number 800.
So show up for that. We'll celebrate it, and hopefully we'll get Graham on there, okay? All right, guys. In the meantime, go to watchchad.com and check out the new store over there. At you can always go to prathertees.com, but go over to redpillchad.com. That's a whole different store with different stuff. So go check it out. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. And might see you on Facebook making soup in a little while. We'll see. I love you. God bless you. We'll talk to you then. Bye.